A lot of people don't realize the largest Iranian embassy in the world is in Mexico City.
Unbelievable.
And the irony is Mexico doesn't do really any trade with Iran. And my understanding through contacts that I have is the Iranians in the Iranian embassy were coordinating with the cartels and with the Iranian consulate in New York City to bring subversive people into the United States. And as it progressed, before President Trump came into office, you had Iranian Quds Force from the Takovar division, I believe, coming into Bluefields, Nicaragua. They were being transported up into Mexico, and then they were being crossed by the cartels into the U.S.
So new reporting just coming in of a warning to law enforcement in California from the FBI that Iran could retaliate against U.S. strikes by launching drones at the West Coast.
Hey, Martha, so there is this ABC report that the FBI has warned police departments here in California that Iran could launch a drone attack somewhere on the West Coast, possibly targeting California. This drone attack could, potentially come from an unidentified vessel. Well, I've talked to some LAPD sources who say so far LAPD has not been made aware of any credible drone threats here in Los Angeles. One LAPD source tells Fox News that there has not been any change in the department's posture in relation to any possible drone threat. The FBI is not commenting on the report about a possible drone threat either. Now, Fox News inquired with Governor Newsom's office, who did give us this statement that reads, the Governor's Office of Emergency Services is actively working with state, local, and federal security officials to protect our communities.
Why is the FBI suddenly sending out quiet alerts to California police about an Iranian threat they claim didn't exist? Why would this information be coming out if it doesn't exist? Why would there be a statement from the governor's office if this wasn't real? The threat is real. And if you haven't seen what these Iranian drones look like, they're like 11-foot long planes. They're launched from ships, not even very big ships. But this is a real threat. We believe, and you and I both know, that there are splinter cells, there are sleeper cells, there are bad people in this country that have come into this country over the last 4 or 5 years, even probably during the Obama presidency, that don't like us. And now we've got all the conflict in the Middle East, and I believe the people are here. They're off the coast of California. They're probably in your neighborhoods. They're off the coast of Virginia. We've got a lot of United States Navy bases in California, these coastal states. Washington State, Oregon, there's submarine bases around Georgia. This is tactically a threat. Let's finish this report here, and then we'll jump right in a little more information.
The federal government's warning to local agencies here about the possibility of an Iranian drone threat could have been under that general umbrella of death to America and not a specific targeted threat.
Yeah, because death to America is never a real threat, is it? We just saw the guy down in Austin, Texas with his sweatshirt on where he was property of, that guy that we can't talk about. He wasn't wearing a Texas Longhorns shirt, was he?
The FBI warning of possible Iranian drone attacks on our homeland. A new alert reviewed by ABC News revealing Iran's aspirations to conduct a surprise attack specifically against unspecified targets in California. The FBI saying it's warned police departments across the Golden State now of strikes by unmanned aerial vehicles or drones.
See, this is the part that bothers me is you've got a news station. ABC News is saying the FBI has warned California law enforcement. You have the governor of California saying, the FBI hasn't said anything, but we'll be apprised of the situation. So this is going back to September of 2025. This is way before, 10 days ago. And now suddenly we're going to take the threat real?
This is Iran's weapon of choice, the Shahed 136. It costs about $20,000 to $50,000 to make. It's not.
You see how many of these things they've got? They've got them in these underground bunkers. The only way that we destroy these is with the bunker busters that the United States military has, because they're buried, they're protected. They want to use them. Why would they have so many of these? You saw the cost of this. $20,000 to $50,000 is all it costs to build one of these. How much money or how many of them could they build with the, I don't know, billions of dollars that President Obama gave them? And more importantly, all of the money that Joe Biden gave them access back to, where he unfroze, he released all of their money. Now you understand why this is so important.
Not an extremely complicated device. It uses GPS, it has an engine and a propeller. You may recognize the distinctive sound from videos like this attack on the capital of Bahrain. And with a range of up to 2,500 kilometers, a drone launched from Tehran could reach Mumbai or Athens.
So that's the big one right here. The 2,500 mile range. 2,500 kilometers, sorry. 2,500 kilometer range. You don't have to be that close to the coast of California.
How do you defend such a large area with so many targets from this drone threat? Christopher Pratt.
The distance from California to Hawaii is about 4,000 kilometers. So if you were to get an Iranian ship in between Hawaii and California, you could actually reach the California coastline. And if you got closer, you could hit anywhere along this western seaboard. It's not very far for you to think about this. This is not outlandish, okay? You can see here with the entire scale of everything that it really wouldn't be that difficult to park something off the coast with a bunch of these drones and just fly them in. And now the FBI has issued a real warning, a real threat. California and these other states, Oregon, Washington, I would say any of these states on the East Coast, hell, I would even say in the Gulf. Think about this. But of course, the governor's office, Gavin Newsom, Kash Patel. If Kash Patel is the FBI director, when something like this happens, there is going to be hell to pay. Now, we've got Laura Logan here. She has an expert on discussing this, but this is a real threat. More importantly, it's a real threat because the cartels have been using drones on the southern border for quite a while. And is it really that far or such a reach to think that the cartels would not get some of these drones from the Iranians? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Let me play you this clip.
A lot of people don't realize the largest Iranian embassy in the world is in Mexico City.
Unbelievable.
And the irony is Mexico doesn't do really any trade with Iran. And
are you starting to understand how important this is and how, I tell you what, how easy it would be to make something like this happen? The largest Iranian embassy in the world is in our neighbor to the south. We understand what we did to Maduro. We understand what we're doing to the cartels. The president of Mexico doesn't like us, doesn't like our president, doesn't like our way of life. And meanwhile, we have the #1 state sponsor of terror. We have their embassy in Mexico to the south. Love to get your take on this. What do you think this means? Is this a real threat? You've got more information coming out. John Solomon reveals that the DNI director, Tulsi Gabbard, and the FBI have found information proving foreign interference in our elections. I wonder why they would have wanted to keep Donald Trump out of office. I wonder why they would have liked to have kept someone in office that was releasing money back to them, back to what they like to do, which is sponsor horrible things around the world. Let me play you this clip from John Solomon and see what you think here.
Over the next 10 days, Steve, we're going to have a lot more. We are going to be able to get, for the first time, I've been able to start processing these documents, a large body of evidence that's in the intelligence community that raises concerns about foreign interference in our elections. That'll probably be the end of this week or early next week. The documents are explosive. They're really remarkable. And what's most remarkable is that all this has been kept a secret from the American people, possibly President Trump in some cases, until recently, of course, when his team told him. I think there's a lot there. And then in between those two things, we're going to reveal another code-named FBI investigation that targeted President Trump, one you've never heard of before, one that may be among the most troubling. We have Crossfire Hurricane, of course. We've got.
Now we know why the Iranians targeted President Trump. Now we know why probably the previous FBI, the administration within that, maybe they turned a blind eye. Maybe they were told to turn a blind eye by the former commander-in-chief, because they know those people, if you believe there's a deep state, and it damn sure starting to look like it for you conspiracy theorists, go ahead and say I told you so, because I believe in this manner, you're probably right. Here we've got an ex-Biden advisor, and he has no clue as to whether illegals were actually entering the United States. You've got some IR footage here showing them just daisy-chained in. I'm sure they're all doctors and lawyers. I'm sure they're all pharmacists. I'm sure they're all good people, Sunday school teachers, deacons at the Baptist church that you go to. No, these people are not. You cannot assume they're safe. You cannot assume they're good. They're not being vetted. There's no telling what they have in their bags. There's no telling what they've brought with them, but it should scare the hell out of a lot of people. And this is Senator Bernie Moreno, and he shows exactly why you should be scared.
Do you think it should be a crime to enter the country illegally?
I don't know anything about this. I'm here to talk about budgets with the budget.
You don't have to, look, I'm not a lawyer, you don't have to be a lawyer. It's a simple question. Should it be a crime, I'll say it slowly, should it be a crime to enter the United States of America illegally?
I don't know
without
anything
permission.
about this.
Do you have a home?
I run.
Do you have a place that you sleep in?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Should it be a crime for people to enter your home without permission?
Yes.
You're pretty certain on that one?
Yes.
Okay, but you're not sure if it's okay to enter America without permission, which is our home, by the way. You don't know about America. Okay, gotcha. All right, so this is the best the Democrats can come up with, Mr. Chairman.
This is a Biden staffer. A Biden staffer could not tell you whether or not he thought coming into the country was illegal. Bernie Moreno asked him if he has a home. I rent. Well, do you think somebody coming into your apartment is illegal? Yeah. So what's the difference? America is our home. We don't want people coming in illegally. And this White House staffer was an absolute clown, and he got clowned. Here's another clip of the exact same thing, and this is exactly what the problem is. The Biden regime allowed us to be invaded.
Do you think it should be a crime to enter the country illegally? All right, so this is the best the Democrats can come up with, Mr. Chairman. I hope the ranking member can listen for just a second, if you don't mind. This is the best witnesses you've got. A guy who can't distinguish whether it's okay to have people enter our country illegally. Of all the millions of people that you could have chosen to testify.
To my good colleague.
Let me finish. The best you have is a guy who has no idea what our immigration law is and isn't sure if somebody should enter the country illegally.
Are you surprised? Does this surprise you at all that this is the best that the Biden administration had to offer? It shouldn't surprise you. Here's the article here. Bernie Moreno slams the former Biden advisor. And this is a joke. These are the people that were in charge of border security for 4 years. And now you wonder why the estimates are 20 to 30 million illegals in our country. I would almost say it's probably double that. That's probably the low end. Guys, what we're seeing on a daily basis are the results, the reactions, the absolute fruition of all the bad seeds that the Biden administration planted. And whoever was in charge during the Biden administration really did a great job of just opening our border up. We've got Iranian drones that are possibly off the coast of California. You have to assume they're there. This could be another Pearl Harbor. This could really get to that level because we know not much further to the west of California and to Hawaii is China, Japan, and we know what comes from there. China, Iran, and Russia are all allies. They are being disproportionately affected by Donald Trump neutralizing the oil reserve, the oil supplies coming out of Iran. What are they going to do? We don't know. But we do know Iran is a state sponsor of terror. Combine that with the cartels to our southern border, with the largest Iranian embassy in the world, just at our neighbors in Mexico. Combine that with the cartels, their hatred for America, all of the men and women in America that are actually protesting for Palestine, that are having candlelight vigils for the Ayatollah Khomeini in New York. And this is a recipe for disaster. I'm not trying to scare you, but you do need to be aware of what's going on. And sadly, not many news stations are really going to give you this level of information where we connect all the dots. Smash a like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. We live stream here every morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, with an intel brief to start your day. I'll see you in the next one.